go.
What's up guys, Phil here today with another video, and let's talk about a few things. I mean, a few things, really cool things have happened in the tech industry, you know, a little bit of gaming here. So I'm just gonna share the news with you guys if you don't know, or if you know and you're just watching this video for the fun of it. Now, the first thing I'm gonna start off with is the RTX 3000 graphics cards. They practically made everything obsolete. They make the RTX 2000 lineup look obsolete. They make the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series obsolete before they even come out. So yeah, and what makes this graphics card lineup so impressive is that from the base graphics card, the lowest range, the RTX 3070, it outperforms an RTX 2080 Ti. Outperforms it for half the price, for about $500 I believe. Now I can imagine that people who recently bought an RTX 2080 or 2080 Ti, they must probably feel pissed or annoyed, or they were like, damn, I should have waited a bit longer. But while we're still speaking about the graphics cards, let's talk about the lineup. It's a 3070, a 3080, and I believe a 3090. I believe the 3090 replaces the Titan. Previously there was an RTX Titan. Now I believe that the 3090 replaces the RTX Titan. So that's it on NVIDIA side. Those graphics cards just look amazing. I mean, it's been actually quite a few years. I think almost a decade or two, or almost 2 decades since the new lineup of graphics cards absolutely trumps the previous lineup of graphics cards. So props to you, NVIDIA. Props to you. I guess you guys didn't want AMD catching up to you like how AMD caught up to Intel. Speaking about AMD said they'll be announcing or releasing their AMD 4000 series in October. Now, if you don't know about AMD Ryzen, I'd like to say, are you sleeping under a rock? Because Ryzen has basically beaten Intel in almost everything. I say almost everything except gaming. Since we're talking about Ryzen, let's move on to Xbox. Now, Xbox has recently announced a new console, the Series S. Now, I'd like to talk about the whole Xbox naming scheme. It looks like they went away from numbers. This entire new Xbox generation is just called Series, the Xbox Series. So there's the Series S and the Series X. The Series X is the top of the range baller Xbox. 4K, 60 or 120 frames per second, and there's a Series S. The Series S is basically what the Xbox One S is to the Xbox One X. So it's a slightly less powerful console, but it has all of the same features, but just dumbed down a little bit. So it cannot play at 4K, but it is targeting 1440p at 60 or 120 frames per second. Now, in my opinion, I think that the Xbox Series S is going to be a good buy for a lot of people, unless you don't like downloading your games because it doesn't have a disk drive. But I think it'll be a good buy for a lot of people. I mean, not a lot of people have 4K TVs, let alone 4K TVs that run at 120 Hz. So I think the Xbox Series S is a good middle ground. I mean, if you have a 1080p TV and you own an Xbox or a PlayStation 4, because most games run at like 30 frames per second on console, current gen consoles, they run at 30 frames per second. But with the Xbox Series S, you are getting all of the features of the Xbox Series X, but with a resolution dip. I think 1080p or 1440p at 60 or even 120 FPS sounds brilliant. Now, along with that, they also announced the prices. Now, the Xbox Series X costs $500 and the Xbox Series S costs $300. Now, let me do the math. So we're gonna start off with the Xbox Series X. Now, the Xbox Series X is $500. So that's about 8,450 Rand. Let's round that up to 8,500 Rand. Plus, there's a 15% VAT, value-added tax. So that's 1,275 Rand. You add that to the price, 9,775 Rand. And there's also going to be various markups. So this thing is looking to be 10,000 Rand this side. The Xbox Series S, on the other hand, that costs $300. So into rands, that is 5,070 rand. Let's round that up to 5,100 rand. Add the 15% VAT, that's 765 rand. Then we add that on to the initial price, that's 5,865 rand respectively for the consoles. So that's how the prices are looking now. Depending on how the economy goes, they might get worse. They might get worse, I'm not gonna lie. At this rate, buying these consoles on Black Friday is probably going to be the cheapest these consoles are ever going to be for the next few years, depending on how our economy goes. I'm sounding so negative, but yeah. Also, if you are an Xbox fan and you want to try and get a good price before stuff gets worse, pre-orders for these consoles start on the 22nd of September and they come out on the 10th of November. So yeah, that's it on the Xbox side. I will make a video on the Xbox Series and also the PlayStation 5. But speaking about the PlayStation 5, they haven't announced anything yet. They haven't announced the price. I'm assuming that Sony is going to price the PS5 at the same price as the Xbox Series X, or they might try and undercut them by $50. And also in other news, The Witcher is getting a next-gen remaster. Now, I really love The Witcher. I love the game. I'm quite far in it. I'm a good level, almost level 30. But I really love that game, so I would love to see how it'll look on the next-gen consoles running at 4K at 60 frames per second. So that'll be very nice. That's it for me. I'm done talking. I hope you guys all enjoyed this video. Please leave a like down below and comment. And if you guys like this series where I just sit down like probably once a week and just discuss recent tech or gaming news, then yeah, I'll do this like once a week. Probably upload the video on a Friday or a Saturday. But yeah, and again, thank you all for watching this video. Thank you all for staying to the end, and peace guys.